With all our hearts, we pray and ask. God bless Anambra. God bless the shining light that we bear. We're the only ones to make her brighter, the only ones to make her better, the only.
Gentlemen, shall we all rise? His Excellency Chief Willie Obiano. The Executive Governor of Anambra State. Willie is capable. Willie has delivered. Willie will leave Anambra State strongly, better than he met it. Ladies and gentlemen, the man with the magic wand, His Excellency Chief Willie Obiano. Is here.
His Excellency the most education-friendly governor. That actually was an award given to him by the National Body of Nigeria Union of Teachers. We call him the grassroots mobilizer of education. And each time I speak, I say that with every sense of responsibility and humility. This is about 7.5 years that I've been Commissioner for Education. There is no memo that I've written on education to His Excellency, and he has said no to that. To me, that is an indication that this is a man that is passionate about education. Mana nga ekene the education family gathered here. All of them, ASUBEB, PPSSA, Education Secretary, Zonu Obona. This is our function. The glory of everything here goes to all of us in the education family. And I want you to please know that you are welcome to your own place. My address is actually very simple because it resonates around these great men and women, the education builders in Anambra State, that we also welcome to this occasion. By the time His Excellency speaks, he may have the opportunity to recognize each of you one by one. But what we are doing today, it's something that has never been done in the history of education in Anambra State. It has never been done. It's because Chief Dr. Obiano is a very creative human being. He understands what it is to say thank you, because ingratitude is worse than anything. We call it a red letter day today. And what I've titled my speech is, what is leadership if you cannot influence? What is leadership if you cannot influence? I am sure that all these people here today have been able to intervene in various areas in education because they want to identify with a working governor, because they want to identify with the good things we are doing in education. And I ask myself again, what is leadership if it cannot influence? We have made some modest achievements in education. Perhaps when His Excellency will be speaking, he will mention some of them. But I simply want us to understand why this day is very important. This is a state that is consolidating the gains of previous administrations and the gains of what Anambra people represent to the whole world. This is the home of Emeka Anyoko of the Commonwealth firm. This is the home of Chimamanda Adichie, the home of Achebe, the home of Professor Charles Soludo, the home of Dora Akone, the home of 1,000 and millions of people in Anambra State who are beacon of light to the whole Nigeria. So you can understand how we place education in this state and why this administration has consolidated on the gains of previous administrations and on the gains of the achievements of so many Indian Anambra men and women scattered all over the world. What we have done in education is very simple over the time. For us, education is about ideology. It's what you believe that you profess, what you profess that you do. Therefore, when His Excellency Chief Dr. Obiano came in 2014, he gave us a clear mandate. The learning needs of all must be met through equitable distribution of resources and learning of lifelong skills, and ensure we are one of the 3 top states with the lowest illiteracy rate. That is our strategic objective. And it was quite easy for us to drive these objectives. Very simple for us to do that, because he came prepared with clear blueprints about what is to be done in education. No child is to be left behind. Give me education, kids, give me education that is both credible and that has quality. Credible education, quality education. And that is what we started running right from day one. And in the first ESCO retreat, the ESCO members and other political appointees had in 2014, we developed what we call the 10 shared values. 10 shared values to make a positive impact on everyone I meet and everywhere I go. To be a solution provider and not a part of the problem to be solved. To be a role model worthy of emulation. To be my best in all I do, particularly the things I'm naturally good at. To do the right thing at all times, regardless of who is doing the wrong thing. To value time and make the best use of it. To care and show respect through my words and action. To consciously build a great legacy, starting now, today, and every day. To live a life of integrity and honor. And to make my family, my state, my nation, and my God proud. So help me God. It has worked like magic. Go to the remotest part of Anambra State. You see children chanting that. I've said it before, it's what you believe that you profess, what you profess that you do. And it has worked like magic for us. Each time we had to go to competitions, we would tell the children, recite the 10 shared values. You have to make your family, your state, your nation, and your God proud. It has worked like magic. And what did we do? We started running this kind of aggressive marketing of values in the schools. Each time I had the opportunity to speak to education stakeholders, I would tell them, because we mold the souls of people, we must have souls ourselves. Must have souls ourselves. And that's what we have done. Therefore, we gave a spirited fight against examination malpractice of all kinds. In 2016, WAEC wrote me a letter, which I called my letter of joy. He said, we want to congratulate Anambra State for credible conduct of WAEC examination in Anambra State, in black and white. Today, His Excellency has gone ahead to put IP cameras in all the examination halls in the state, so that when you are taking WAEC or NECO, in the comfort of your own house, I can look at the scenario through the camera, through the computer, through my phone, and I will monitor exams taking place everywhere in Anambra State. That's what we are doing now. And it has worked like magic. Number one, we have developed in Umagu Anambra that can do spirit. I mean, you watch some of them coming here to perform for you. That confidence has been built in Umagu Anambra. Each time somebody asks me, what is the greatest achievement of Chief Dr. Obiano? I'll tell them, he has imbued in Anambra students the can-do spirit. We have our dictum, nothing is impossible, absolutely nothing. I do not accept failure, and yes, I can. These are things Anambra State students chant all the time, and therefore they can surmount the insurmountable. No matter the challenges before them, they can do that. And in 2014, when we came in, the percentage of students that had 5 credits, including English and mathematics, was 60.98%. And by 2009, it is down 73.93%. What it means is that the number of children that can enter into the university has moved from 60% to 73% in Anambra State. And that is one of the outstanding things we have recorded in education in Anambra State. So, if our children are winning awards, it's because they have been prepared for it. Remember, I said this is the time for consolidation. We are ready to leapfrog into the future. We have given Anambra State children the ICT compliant and the teachers. With the policy of no one teacher, one laptop policy, it was easy for the teachers to quickly key into our policy that no teacher will be a head teacher or a principal if the teacher is not ICT compliant. The idea was that they can now train the other teachers. In 2020, we did computer training for over 10,000 teachers. We are preparing them for the future. We are doing a lot of digital literacy training for them. We have done e-conferences, which the Minister of State, Barrister Wajuba, was present at the conference, e-conference for the teachers, for all the teachers, on COVID-19 and its implication for education. We have done the T4 conference for them, online, and every one of them keyed in. We have done the teach and tech for them, and they are learning, and so many other things. The important is that we want to consolidate these teachers so that in the future, our dream is that in future, you will have what you call Anambra certified teacher. That is our dream. So that any teacher in Anambra State can be as good as a teacher in Ontario, where you have OCT, Ontario certified teacher. That is our dream, and we are getting there through the consolidation. Therefore, if our students have done well, if the Regina Pache girls could go to Silicon Valley in the Tech Innovation Pitching Challenge in 2018 to win gold, to come back, beating every other country, it's because they are prepared. We are preparing them for the future. If the St. John Science and Technical Law could go to Tunisia in the International Festival of Engineering and Sciences and get bronze, it's because we are preparing them for the future. If all our children, like the GTC is preparing now to go to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, to represent Nigeria in the youth entrepreneurship competition, where they have one nationality. Sometime this year, they are going to represent Nigeria in Dubai. So if our children are doing well, it's because we are preparing for them for the future. I really want to, professors like to talk, and I can keep you here and talk. But the important thing I want us to get is that Chief Dr. Obiano has done so well in education. And we are encouraged that a lot of us are supporting what the government is doing. This is leadership. Because leadership without influencing others to key into the government is not good leadership. So we want to salute His Excellency for that good leadership that has made all these men and women of Anambra to key in. Many of them have intervened in so many areas. I won't begin to call names, but there are some models. I don't know who is here and who is not, but there are some models you can go around and still see. What we are doing now is that sometimes my interaction with some of them on phone shows that sometimes they feel unsung and not remembered. Today we are singing a song for you. Today we are singing that song and saying, because that's why we are saying that. But we have also noticed that sometimes these interventions are done in very unstructured manner. And we are trying now to put a structure around this so that there will be standards in things we do. We wish to welcome all of us gathered here today. We shall thrill you with various student performances to show you that all your efforts are not in vain. Anambra State students are simply the best. Thank you, Anambra, for making it so. I welcome you again to this occasion. Thank you very much.
What I'm standing here to talk about is the collaboration between the private sector and the government. Your Excellency, sir, we thank the organizers of this event for setting out a day like this to appreciate individuals and groups for their contribution in very important education sector like this since the creation of Anambra State. Your Excellency, the high quality education we are talking about now that can produce critical thinkers at the basic education level across the state cannot be shouldered by the state government alone. The result, as envisaged, requires total mobilization of Anambra in both the formal and the informal sector, including those in diaspora, to join hands with the state government in the onerous task of laying a solid foundation that has already commenced. I hereby salute Anambra State Authority for the progress recorded in education in particular and the state in general. After administration in Anambra State cannot be left out, Your Excellency, we deeply appreciate what the government have done in the state, especially handing over schools to the mission. Your Excellency, you consolidated on that game. You kept faith with the Anambra for these 7.5 years. And we also thank you for the appointment of our erudite Professor Kate Omenoga, who had deepened the gains of this policy. Today, Your Excellency, we are also appreciating this milestone, this gathering, which is to appreciate and show and share recognition with those who have contributed in education within this time frame. We are saying that this is really an oxygen to the souls of these builders, or the builders of education in the state. Your Excellency, even as we glory in the past of the successive administration in education, even as we also glory on the whole kind of projections, we still have much to be done to be able to compete at the global level. And no responsible government, Your Excellency, or individual, even as we praise you, we downplay this most important sector, and then still believe that it will play any relevant role in ever evolving world. And therefore, education is all in all. And looking back in the contemporary Nigeria or in the past, you can also see why somebody like Obafemi Awolowo till tomorrow, Ndi Yoruba, Nefia, Carlosi. Your Excellency, you have done us proud. The standard in focus will enable our students to fully navigate through the high-level ICT early in their lives. Mastery of software designs and eyeing artificial intelligence technology, which the world is gravitating to. Let the truth be told, the opportunities in every sector in our society in Nigeria, including job progression, is highly skewed against our youth in the southeast zone in Nigeria. We must know that. But the kind of education we are now canvassing for, Your Excellency, is that which is so highly up there that will make the Nigeria Mahatolia to pick and hire our own. That's the kind of education we're now looking at. The kind of education that even expatriate firms that will come to Nigeria will prefer to hire our own youth than bringing in their own foreign experts, because our own will be cheaper. Or when I convert their dollar, they will prefer to hire the buying. That's the kind of education we're looking at. And therefore, Your Excellency, we're looking at models in this partnership arrangement. One, we're looking at a situation where the state will have a privately appointed organization that will stand between the government and the private sector. Your Excellency, I want to make it clear. I gave away an organization that should be able to interact with the knowledge, because no one will let go. That we are not happy. Lagos, Abuja, our people who have the resources that we can engage so that they will participate in funding of the education, especially in their communities. That kind of organization that government is going to engage, I have part of their own contribution to improving education in the state. Then to establish a data bank that will help to enlist all our schools in town and local government bases and streamline the needs with approved state specification. Honorable Commissioner, such things will now be on our website, where any person who wants to now key in will have a clear picture, a detailed analysis of the argument in a particular school. Now, enlisting board members. Your Excellency, what we are canvassing under this model, but at every primary and secondary school government went, this organization can help to now scrutinize and get people who will now become board members of these schools. They will now support the effort of government and the effort of the PTA. Because the PTA, Your Excellency, and there are some kind of things that some of these individuals who are now board members can handle quickly without any reference to government. And therefore, Your Excellency, we believe that this agency and the Nigeria will also harmonize the activities of old boys and old girls in such a way that by the time you put these things together, the agency or the organization will now be able to make sure that now these things are put together and nothing is left out. Government and ministry may not be able to do it because now not private sector go for that to the government. Sometimes they may think that now they will not take their money and put in the hands of government for this kind of purpose. But an agency that is non-religious, non-political, and non-profit, they can now be able to lift and put this across. The private sector will likely and more readily listen to them, especially when we are now saying that the board that will now be appointed through the instrumentality of this kind of agency will now ensure that they will now be managing that money according to what the board must have agreed upon. They are not raising money to give to government. They are raising the money to deal with the issues of those schools direct, using the requirement, using all those details that the Minister of Education is going to give as a guide. Your Excellency, the second option that we're also looking at is education fund, education trust fund. We believe that, given what we know, that the time to have an education trust fund to be manned by men and women of integrity who will also steer such mandate is becoming almost important, Your Excellency. All the equivalent DBC it declare state of emergency, because by the time they will like education trust fund, I get win the backing of the law. But having said that, Your Excellency, under this model, both government and members of the public will be encouraged to contribute to that fund. Your Excellency, it will better done with a law, which we believe that we can also do. This model will also adequately cover students and schools from communities and local government disadvantaged Nandi-Walego, because, Your Excellency, Akane, and therefore we must also be thinking of those kind of communities where the Akajak Irirone. The other one now, Your Excellency, is the adoption of schools. Again, it is important. Professor Soludo, but what we're not saying is that there is need for the agency to go into town and plead with these individuals to adopt schools. So it's important that we get this done. Your Excellency, nothing should be left unexplored, no matter how difficult a challenge it may appear in this ever-changing world. You may also recall that this model, Your Excellency, we are canvassing now. I use the Anambra road development. And Your Excellency, by the time you supported it, we achieved over 24.45 kilometers through this kind of arrangement. And therefore, we are saying that if we could do it, in terms of road development, if the others are copying it, if other communities are also copying this model, Your Excellency, road more expensive, education funding is cheaper, and therefore, by the time we unveil this kind of arrangement, it will have better support and organized government, because the other reason for government to be able to do it and do it to the standard your administration is looking at. And therefore, we are saying, Your Excellency, this private sector will make things more sustainable and it will help our developmental goals. Again, we know that, Your Excellency, the postal fund is becoming more clear every day. And population growth is a bad mix when you compare Egona Batazana, and therefore we are saying that there's no way the state government could hope to render this kind of serious progress without embracing the private sector under this consideration. Your Excellency, in Anambra, we have men and women, and we are saying if we pull these men and women together, we can achieve so much under this method that we are canvassing. In a land where there are no dreamers, the people will most certainly perish. But you, Your Excellency, and all of us gathered here, and in Anambra, both home and in the diaspora, we are the music makers. We are the storytellers, teachers, and poets. We are the men and women of vision and leadership. We are the legends. We are the saints. We are the champions. Your Excellency, we are the dreamers of the dream. Your Excellency, you are the dreamer of Anambra today. And we pray that as one of your parting gift on Anambra for a sustainable growth in quality education that is capable of unveiling the numerous talent in the state and thereby make this state a truly Silicon Valley of Nigeria and indeed of Africa, is to fully endorse and approve this private partnership initiative for posterity. We believe, Your Excellency, your administration must end strong. And we shall all put hands together, join you to make that strength a reality. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Yes. And these people, they were singing like the real USA for Africa.
In which, ladies and gentlemen, let me stand on the protocols earlier established. You've been long here, and I will not stretch you further. If you know this song, you sing along with me. Akwụkwọ na so onye welu ntazi obi ọ ga-amụta akwụkwọ ma ọ bụrụ na nne yi na nna ya enwe ego. Na nne yi na nna ya enwe ego. I'm ready to emphasize the na nne yi na nna ya enwe ego. Anyị agbasago ekene dele kụziela anyị otito dele kụziela anyị akwụkwọ. Again. Ekene dele ndị nkụzi kụziela anyị otito dele. In the two songs we just sang, very key things. You know, don't forget that we learned this in kindergarten. I'm sure all of you did many years ago, and we still remember it. And the first one emphasized the fact that education is important, but they put a caveat. You must be, you must have the choncho to be able to finish it. You know. Then the second one appreciates our teachers. Very important. You know, because without the teachers, there won't be any education. As a matter of fact, you know. So that's how I want to start this program. But let me tell you, I will speak extempo. You know, when we started in 2014, this administration said that our vision is for Anambra to be first choice investment destination and a hub for economic and commercial activity. First choice investment destination and a hub for economic and commercial activity. As a matter of fact, most of the things this administration has achieved, you know, has lived that vision, particularly the international cargo and passenger airport and our international conference center that is here, to be first choice investment destination and a hub for economic and commercial activity. Our mission, while we go to work every day, is to create a socially stable, business-friendly environment where indigenous and non-indigenous alike will have opportunity for wealth creation. That's our mission. Again, if you check through, you find that that's why we go to work every day. That's what we've lived through. It is this vision and mission that we condense into a blueprint, and from that blueprint, we extracted our 4 pillars and 14 enablers. The first pillar is agriculture, followed trade and commerce, oil and gas, and industrialization, finally. Although during the year, we added one more pillar, logistics, considering the strategic nature of Anambra State vis-a-vis the states around it. You know, and you can see, if you look at those pillars, we have also done very well there. Agriculture, before I came, we were not an exporting state, but today we export all kinds of things to the United States, to UK, and West African countries. You know, industrialization, of course, the industries of this world are here. Trade and commerce, of course, that's what our people are known for, and oil and gas. 3 days ago, I received a letter from the Fiscal Revenue Mobilization confirming that Anambra is an oil-producing state. We have not started earning the 13% derivation, but it is heartwarming to note that I think on the whole, 11 wells, you know, they gave Anambra 11 wells in our geographic confine, you know, so it's important. You know, so I've just spoken about the 4 pillars. Then we have the 14 enablers. Education is one of the enablers. Why do we paraphrase it an enabler? An enabler is an enabler because it's not an end in itself. It is a means to an end. If your education is an enabler, because if you didn't go to school, most of us won't be here today. So it's an enabler. Health is enabler. If you're not well, you probably will not come to this place today. You know, infrastructure is an enabler. Without the airport, the bridges, roads to commute, and what have you, you will not get anywhere. You know, security is an enabler. Without security, you can't do anything. You know, that's why we made it #1 enabler, and we chased it that way, and we're able to achieve what we've been able to achieve. You know, but let me dwell on a few minutes on education. When we started, we said that in education we are going to do 3 things. First, infrastructure. Infrastructure is not just building alone. It includes the equipment, items, and what have you. We have specially made full laboratory in 90 of our schools. We started with 60 before. You know, very well made, with all the things you can use in chemistry, biology, and other science subjects. You know, and we renovated most of our schools. And when the Professor Obiano was speaking, she talked about the red roof revolution. So anywhere you see red roof in the school premises, you know that it was done by this administration, you know, and many more. Then we said the other thing we must do in education. You see, why I didn't read my script is that most of the things you've already said were covered in my speech, so there was no need to repeat it and waste your time, you know. So I decided to talk extra on that. You know, after all, it's my program, so I know what I'm saying. You know, so the other one is teachers' welfare. You saw in the second song when we were thanking the teachers, because without the teachers, you will not produce students, good students, you know. So I will pursue that. I never owed teachers salary one day since I came here. I paid them the way they pay us in the bank where I came from on the 25th of the month, and sometimes it upstairs to 28, 29, depending on challenges and what have you, you know, or weekends, and you know. But they are paid promptly. Their promotions we pursue very well, you know, and on my own in 2016, I increased the salary of teachers by 16% without any prompting by them. True or false? You know, without any prompting by them. And I was about to do some other adjustment before the minimum wage issue came. You know, and we were able to deal with that. Promotions are there. It was under my administration for the first time that teachers could go abroad for one thing or the other under Professor Keto Menua, and the result became obvious. Our students started doing much better than they were doing before. I must acknowledge APCA administration in Anambra, starting with Peter Obi, who handed over some schools to the mission. I also added 138 schools during my administration. I also handed over those schools to the mission too. Not only that, we handed over. I paid over 3 billion to the missions for the schools Peter Obi handed over to them, and for the schools I handed over to them. To enable them improve on the facilities that are there. So education is very critical. The other one is students' welfare. The third one in education, students' welfare. So that if you study that's why schools abroad are better, because they have very conducive environment to study. You cannot study in a Koka market. You need a serene environment. You will not concentrate. So that students' comfort will also became a priority for us. And we did all those stuff. Having said that, while all of you are here, I must confess that we probably did not get all the names of the people that are supporting education. So that if there are people, their names are not here, they should blame me. It's my responsibility. I didn't remember them, but it's important to make that point, because we cannot be 100%, comprehensive in terms of getting everybody that has supported education one way or the other, But obviously, yourselves that are here contributed majorly, partnering with the state government to be able to push education, particularly the missions. I must be particular: Catholic, Anglican, Pentecostal. You guys, the institutions have helped education majorly. It was a good idea to hand over schools to the missions, because they run it well and run it with some culture of religion at the background and what have you. So you turn out well-rounded human beings, people that fear God and still are educated, and not people that just go to school and forget the other one. So the missions did help. There are what do you call them? There are other institutions, foundations, a Mekofa Foundation, for example, assisting in books and what have you from everywhere. There are so many of you here that brought in a lot of books for our students, supported us in laptops and what have you. In summary, what I'm trying to emphasize here is our students are great people outside this environment. For want of example, I use my daughter. My daughter passed through Fowler Memorial College for Girls in Lagos. In the US, she was all through. Medical school, best. And became a doctor at the age of 23. Became a medical doctor at the age of 23. With the best result, best grade. And there are many in the Anambra like that, everywhere. Pulling our weight, all those 10 shared values you saw Kate recite, are helping our people. It's like the Boy Scout law. Anytime you remember it, you can do it. Like when those little girls went to Silicon Valley, they came to ESCO, and I told them, you are going to compete with people that will look strange to you, white people, but for what is now, it will never end of my no fish kabanwe, and therefore you can beat them. I told them that, and they went there, they beat everybody. Man did church and man did church. So it's good to have confidence. And you build confidence both at home, in school, and in what have you. If you're confident, Even in a DJ, in a confidently, opening to the way, on your cemetery. I went in for Fana Gija Venere, you know, this way will over. If I announce a widget, or I get here, it was Saga. You know, so I can you know, and will not waste your time. I would like Kate to very quickly move to the next segment of this program so that people can live here in real time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And then the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, care of His Grace, the Most Reverend. Where's the camera? As the name should please. The representative should come forward. Sir Dr. Emeko Professor Charles Chukwumasoro, the CFI. Ladies and gentlemen, the next is Senator Sir Victor Amadike Bigo, OFR. This man has really contributed in education. He has been Honorable Ejike Okechukwu Emeka Ayabaso. Captain General Campo has really helped us. Chief Uchenna Ezak, Chief Uchenna Ezak. Then Apostle Nnamdi Mbaibu. As you receive your award, His Royal Majesty Igwe Gerald O. Mbamara, KSN Ezra Oranyelu 1. I, Emeka Okebo, the second of Ogwe. Engineer, can I one please? The Chief Godson and Step on B. Our Chief Linus, Anna Yochukwu and Lady Benedicta Ifoma Ikebuna. So come and receive these. Next is High Chief Ichiesa Cyprian Chief Sir Emeka Agap, Chief Doctor Mianoko Honorable John Chief, let me stand on other protocols already established. Your Excellency, the Honorable Commissioner, I stand out on behalf of the recipients of this very important award to say thank you very much for this novel award, because it is not easy to recognize somebody who is silently working. But Your Excellency, what you have done is that you have recognized people who are silent builders and contributors to the educational development of our youths in Anambra State. It's a source of encouragement to everybody who got this award today. Many people have been investing without making noise in the educational empowerment of our children. To support you, the Governor of Anambra State. It's on record from all the slides shown and the addresses rendered, particularly from the Honorable Commissioner of Education, that education has been moving in an upward graph in Anambra State since you came in. We've never gone backwards. We've always been going up. We've been winning awards year after year due to the hard work and industry of the teachers of this state and the Honorable Commissioner, who has been very resourceful. So we are very happy with this. Like it was also shown, government cannot do it alone. And that is why most of us have been doing this. I think the greatest gift a child can receive is education. Education, like you said, is an enabler. An uneducated child will have limited potentials. An educated child, the sky is his or her limit. So it's something that is worthy of emulation. If we wait for government to do all that, despite the programs you put in place, including encouraging the missions in the management of their own schools, the ones you've been doing in public schools, it will still not be enough to accommodate all the children of this state. A lot of children are talented, but they don't have somebody who can see them through. That is why I believe that the best gift any person can give around his environment will be to ensure that children around him or her receive quality education. So I thank you very much. Those of us who have been contributing to the education of various children in our localities can tell you that most of the children we have that are not privileged to have quality education, like you sang, many people waste their talent because of lack of funding to go forward. We have seen such severally. People who have been doing this here, you recognize today, can tell you their experiences. So many people that they have sponsored have become stars today. People who have dropped out of school. The Anambra child has indomitable spirit. Like I've always said here, we've always said it in Anambra State. We are world beaters.